Good morning to you on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Diane, greyish. Certainly does seem to be a mix of weather today, doesn't it? All over the country. Oh, Susan, 21 degrees in Portugal. Not jealous. Not jealous at all. We'll see, won't we? Good morning, Sharon on YouTube. Welcome. Let's wait another minute for people to get ready. Ignore this sketch. I've tried rubbing it out, but it hasn't rubbed out wonderfully well. Yeah, it's the first Saturday in February, so it's time for our demo, which is a snowy landscape in acrylics. It's going to be quite simple. I'm going to put some silver birches in as well. And as usual, if I have customers, you know the drill, I'll have to nip down and serve. Because there's only me. Morning, Mandy. Oh, it's showing up as you're in your 3rd follower anniversary for our page. So thank you very much for following us the last 3 years. It's very nice to have you. Morning, Wendy. Morning, Naomi. A bit sunny in Olney. Good. Yeah, the sun's really streaming. I've had to close the blind. It's that sunny, because the sun's behind us here, and it's hitting the shop opposite, and it's bouncing back in, which is usually quite nice, but it's quite blinding from my angle. Oh, Naomi, yes, it's your 3rd follower anniversary as well. Hello, Rosemary. Yes, I don't know if there will be any ads on the live. Well, I think there may well be an ad. I don't think it knows how long I'm going to go for. I don't have to tell it. So let me move my mouse. Let me stick my glasses on. I have canvas paper. And I want a limited palette today. Let me just curl that up so it can fit on the table. Of just black and white, ultramarine and burnt sienna. So I don't know, Rosemary. It doesn't. I'll just scroll down. Oh, hi, Becky. Elvedon. Do you call it Elvedon in Norfolk? Is that how you say it? Thank you for joining me this morning. 21 of you online. That's wonderful. And we've got quite a few on YouTube as well. That's really lovely to have your company. Honestly, I'm always blown away by how many of you bother to watch me. The sun shines. Well, I'm there. The sunshine does not shine on the righteous. I'm disproving that myth. So welcome. So a few colours. I just wanted to keep it fairly simple because it is just 45 minutes, and it's important to keep it fairly simple where possible, I find. We will be getting the little man. Is it having issues on YouTube? The little man with his guitar's just arriving. You needed a nap before you head into the shop later. Oh, I see. Well, don't forget I'm only here till 2 on Saturdays. And I am off like a shot. This week I have worked 4 evenings. The guitar man. Oh, there's a guitar man that comes every Saturday with his guitar. He's a religious man and usually sings. Oh, he's singing Sing Hosanna today. It's often he's got the whole world in his hands. But the ladies in the cafe have bought kazoos and tambourines and they go out and support him for 5 minutes on his way. Good morning, Margaret. From near Liverpool. Lovely to have you with us. Yeah, that guy. He's a lovely man. I can't hear any kazoos today, just tambourines. Oh, and they're joining in the chorus. That's lovely. Right. We'll do some painting, shall we? I haven't drawn anything. Ignore that. That doesn't exist. That was from last night's oil painting. Good morning, Hilary. It reminds me when I used to be in assembly when I was teaching in primary education. I better not join in because of the copyright stuff. Right, so I'm going to get my big brush. I'm going to put a bit of a blue sky on. A little bit of white. Big dollop of white. Summer to the king. So I've just got a damp brush rather than a wet brush. There's been a massive problem in the town with the internet. Oh, Mr. Blackbird's very loud this morning on my recording. So although I'm using a massive dollop, I'm really pushing that into it's canvas paper today. But I don't want it to be wet. If it feels sticky, you just dip a little bit of your brush in and go over the top, and then I'll go with a little bit of ultramarine, blob it around the top, and then crisscross. I should be using cerulean really for a winter sky, because it's slightly cooler. A little bit of white, a little bit of water because it's already drying. I haven't got any heaters on or anything up here today. So lots of crisscross motions, and I'm going to need a little bit more white as I get lower down. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Facebook's a bit problematic at times, which is why we started doing the YouTube lives. I'm hoping to be able to do TikTok live at the same time as well in a month or two once I get my head around that. So we'll be multi-platform streaming soon. I think we've now got enough followers on our TikTok channel. Thank you all for watching and commenting and sharing our reels and things. It does mean a lot to us because we are monetized on Facebook and Instagram. So it means that we don't earn much. We literally, across all of our platforms, and we're monetized on YouTube as well now. So just by watching our public YouTube videos, you will help us earn money just for free. So makes a big sense. Good morning, Shani. How are you? Where are you joining us from this morning? 30 of you on Facebook. God, there must be nothing on telly, eh? It's gorgeous weather here. Really lovely that I can see out of the window while I'm stuck inside. Oh, really? Are you banned from TikTok and Instagram? I dread to think what you've been up to, Rosemary. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have... Oh, I might have to turn that the bird song down because Mr. Blackbird gets a little bit vocal at times. Oh, why? How else would you say Shani? My nephew's wife is a Shani. Hi, Melanie. How are you? So I'm going to mix a darker blue than this area with blue and white. I'm going to have a hill and a tiny bit of black. Now black is ridiculously hungry, so without knowing it, everything goes black. We found that in last night's oil class. So I'm going to have bumpy, not too bumpy. Keep it natural. Layer of hills, something like that. I'm not only going to just use one, maybe I will just use one brush and a painting knife. Maybe I feel like the challenge. One brush, one knife, four colours. How about that? Oh, you've never been able to log in? Oh. How odd. So, when you're painting snow, the difficulty is it's white, but actually it's not always white, and the shadows can vary depending on the colour of your sky. Sometimes the shadows on snow are bright blue, sometimes they're a grey, sometimes they're a purple. So it's really tricky to know if you're making it up. I've got some sort of references in front of me. I've got like several references for this, that so it's a made up scene. Just to help you paint snow. So if you notice, what I've done is I've done a bluey grey in the background, just because it looks too weird if it was pure white against that really pale sky on the horizon. So I've got peppermint tea this morning. Let me have a slurp. How very Waitrose of me. I might put a tree line. Maybe. Do you know what? I am going to just use this one brush because I'm feeling like that. I'm in one of those moods today. We'll go with a bit of blue and a little bit of brown. I'm very tired this week. As I say, I was teaching Monday night, teaching Tuesday night, teaching Thursday night. Well, I was at the museum Thursday night, teaching last night. I'm very sleepy. And working every day. I don't just sleep in there, I don't just work in the evening. So I've got a blue grey there. Do you know, I don't think I've ever had red bush. Really don't think I have. So I'm just going to stab. Let me splay the bristles. So this is a blue-brown mix. I could use lots of brushes for this, and I'll probably wish that I had, but we'll see how we get on. A berry tea. Do you know, I like fruity teas, but I'm a bit of a kitchen witch, I think. Really, I often will have my bedtime tea is a pouch from a Hessian pouch that you can use like a tea bag, and I put thyme, rosemary, ginger, cinnamon, oat straw, nettle, dandelion leaf. What else goes in there? Peppermint and lemon balm with a little bit of honey. That's what I have just not long before I go, about half an hour before I go to bed. So we've got our tree light. I might bring that down a little. Get a little bit bigger, and we'll be a bit stabbier here. I've got someone in the shop, but they look like they're having a browse, so I'll leave them be for now. It's working already, isn't it? It's looking like something. Just going to give this a bit of a clean. It is an interesting cup of tea, Mandy. It's a concoction of mine. Often I'll just have peppermint, lemon balm and nettle. I grow lemon balm and nettle for such purposes, and I try to dry it, but it is actually easier and cheaper to buy it. I realise that. I'm just going to use a little bit of white just to neaten it up, and just maybe add a few little highlights in the snow. So it's often about contrasts. That's the thing that we're looking at. Contrasts. It is, Patricia. I love nettle. In fact, I have on my cornflakes in the morning, I sprinkle mixed chopped nuts, cinnamon, nettle seeds, and bee pollen, and I have a little bit of honey and milk. Told you I was a weirdo. But I don't think that's never been up for debate, has it? Really. Rosemary wants a laptop whiz kid. Oat straw's good to help you sleep. Lemon balm's good for your digestion. As is I love dandelion. Right, I'm just gonna mix a bluey grey for the underpainting of the snow. And I think I'm gonna have to go down and serve. But this will be dry before I get back, hopefully. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Let me just finish that. I'll put my little sign up. I'll be back in a second. Enjoy the bird song. I'm back. Now, oh, that was I've just said the lovely, wonderful Val Sims. You should check her out on social media. She's an amazing animal artist with pastels. She's absolutely stunning. She's honestly mind-blowing. Val Sims, wonderful artist. I just love cinnamon, Charlie. I adore it. Right, I'm back. Have you missed me? Did anything exciting happen? Rosemary's had a toothbrush ad online for YouTube. I think because we're monetized on YouTube, little ads pop up every now and again. All over the place. I don't know if they do on Facebook Live. Right, let's wipe my brush clean. A little bit of cleaning. Well done for surviving 20 minutes of me already. Oh, Diana, thank you. You know just what to say. Been doing a lot of snow scenes this last month. We did a lovely one, I'll just show you, in watercolour of Castlerig standing stones in watercolour in the snow. We did that one yesterday afternoon. I can't show you the oil class we did last night because it's absolutely soaking wet, and well, I just can't. It's over the other side of the room, and I'm just going to get covered in it. Going to get a bit of white, and I'm just sort of dry brushing. It's not totally dry underneath, but it's dry enough. So it just helps to create textures. Obviously, if you were doing a snow scene in watercolour, the ad why can't I speak this morning, Rosemary? The ad lasted seconds and is less irritating than the cutouts on Facebook. Well, that's well worth it. Oh, ooh, fresh ginger and green tea, Patricia. Excellent. Thank you, Mandy. She said it looks fab. You're all very nice. Since we started doing our daily reels, we do get a lot of abuse online. It's surprising how many art videos can bring out the worst in people. You wouldn't think that teaching someone an art technique would press so many, but I often get at least one lot of abuse a day on one of our channels. It's quite exciting, really. Oh, thank you, Shani. Can you see how it kind of quite relaxing? So if you were doing more fields, you just do the same thing. Now, Lynn, it's a tricky one, obviously, because you're talking about microplastics, I'm sure. Oh, it is hilarious, Rosemary. The abuse is hilarious. It's not really ideal to pour down the sink, but in a class setting, when if I've got like 9 students with 2 or 3 jars of dirty acrylic water, and then I've got another class 2 hours later, it's almost impossible to not do anything but tip it down the sink. But yes, I understand microplastics can be an issue with acrylic wastewater, but then with watercolor paint, you're talking about toxins and cadmiums and loads of other stuff. Whatever paint you're using and tip it, that's water based, will have big environmental repercussions. You've got 2 options with acrylic water. I do get a lot of praise, but the abuse is quite fun, Julie. With acrylic wastewater, you've got 2 options. You can tip it into cat litter. That's one option. Or an option that I tend to favour, because I'm more impatient and I haven't got a cat and I've got nowhere to stick cat litter, is I use coffee filters. I will have another jar, a bigger jar with a coffee filter in, and I tip the paint water into the coffee filter and let it diffuse, and that gets rid of a lot of the plastic particles in there. Doesn't get rid of all of them. You can double filter it if you want to, and then that clears the water, and you can use it. The other thing you can do, and it's an interesting one, and you'll notice, even my students will notice, that in a 2-hour class I do not change my water, and that is because in acrylics the pigment is heavier than the water. So what happens is the acrylics will sink to the bottom, always sink to the bottom. So if you clean your brush at the top of your water, let the pigment sink, and you can use the top of the water. So in time it will sink, and you can use the top. So if I just want a lighter line, or just cleanish water, I'll use the top of the water jar. I don't go into the sludge. Use your tea instead to wash your brush. Absolutely. Oh, it can build up and block the sink, but as Diana said, soapy water will work as well. Soapy water works just fine with acrylics because it breaks down the particles a little bit more. Like washing up liquid will break down it and it will be fine. But really hot water, soapy water. But if you coffee filter it first, that'll get rid of a lot of the plasticky stuff that will lodge in your U-bend. Nobody wants a blocked U-bend. But yeah, coffee filter. If you haven't got spare jars, you could literally put the coffee filter in the plug hole and pour it in, and then it will just filter away. And coffee filters are really cheap to buy, and they're made of paper, so they can just be disposed of then. So that's interesting for you, isn't it? Every day's a school day. Right, so I want some silver birches. How am I doing? Oh, I've got time. Right, so I'm going to go with burnt sienna. I'm going to add a tiny weeny bit of black to the burnt sienna because I've still got white on my brush. And I told you I'm challenging myself because I'm in one of those moods today that I'll probably regret later on, making stupid decisions. So I'll load my brush up, flip it over, load it up. It is painful. And then I will you do have to make the sound effects. It is the law. I didn't make one then and it didn't go as well, you see. Bit more pressure at the bottom. What, the bravery test or making the noise? I'm going to make one a little bit thicker. Just a little bit. Flick it out at the bottom a little. Silver birches often grow in clumps, don't they? The noise. Well, unfortunately, Diana, I've always made noises. I've always been a noisy painter. Better than being a noise eater, I find. Right. Let's give that a little bit of a clean. And then I'm going to use a painting knife. Now, don't come at me. I do my homework. This is a painting knife, not a palette knife. I've had so much abuse over it over the years. I used to work for this company as the UK demonstrator. I know. It's a painting knife. A palette knife is more like a cake spatula. Long, thin and flat. Painting knife is like a trowel with a crooked neck so your knuckles do not drag on the paper. If you aren't sure, just Google what's the difference between a painting knife and a palette knife. Unfortunately, a lot of tutors and a lot of art stores just bundle them all in as palette knives. They're not. It's a painting knife, and I do feel that if it's called something, you need to call. I mean, you could call it Amanda or Susan or Fred if you like. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but this is a painting knife. Right, I just need to get that off my chest because somebody had to go at me the other day and did an eye roll emoji because they thought I was wrong. Oh, a little. Well, I was given for Christmas. It is a very Neolithic thing. Knuckle dragging. I've got a Day a Page Bob Ross calendar somebody bought for Christmas. Lisa, you haven't watched lives before. You can watch this from the beginning afterwards, as soon as the live has ended, and it will stay on our Facebook page forever. But it is also on our YouTube channel, and it will stay there forever. But again, you can only watch it live from the beginning after the demo has started. But a lot of the time it's just me waffling, to be honest, Lisa, and introducing slightly different arty nuggets of amazing information and creativity throughout. But But yes, you can. You can watch from the beginning after the demo, a couple of minutes after I end the live stream. So I'm going to mix a sort of blue-grey. I might as well use my knife. So this is ultramarine and burnt sienna. Oh, I can waffle. I've got more waffle than bird's eye, Lisa. Honestly. Right, got blue grey. Now I want my dark side to be on the left of the tree. So how I do that is I want my knife to go like that. So I'm going to scrape that way. So I've got a more of a lump or a bead or a line or a dollop of paint on that side. Now, birch trees will grow exponentially. And we'll do a little curve. So really, when we use a knife, because I did a knife class the other week, didn't I? The other month I did knife with oils doing Snowy Mountains, wasn't it? Was that January's? You'll be able to tell me. I'm almost as good as waffling as I am teaching. Yeah. That's very true. So when you do this, you can get thin lines, but when you do it, be aware that doing this with the knife will widen your tree. We'll see like that. The knife is only there to guide the paint. It's not butter in toast. Right, I've got a customer I'm going to have to nip down, I'm afraid. The pleasures and pains of running an art shop. Now, where can I stick that and don't be cheeky? I'll pop that there. I'll be back in a sec. Behave yourselves. Maybe sing a little song. I'm back. Oh, I'm exhausted. What have you been up to? Oh, I've got a bit of paint on my sign. I need to stick that over there. Oh, exhausted. Thank you so much for sticking with me while I have to go and do these things. Right, I'm going to go into white. Now I want the light side to be the right side. So I'm going to pivot my knife that way to do that. So I'm going to want white on that side. So you can see if I move a bit out. Got a wedge of paint. Well, I wouldn't like to comment, Diana. I'm too professional. So I'm going to go that way. Unfortunately, it's dried. And then I'll come back the other way just to marble it a little bit more. Give my knife a wipe. You can do the comments. Yeah. I did the bigger one first just to get the feel. Swirl it back. So it's better if the darker shade is slightly wet. But isn't that a lovely technique? Do you think? Or have you all nipped to the loo thinking I'll be longer? This, to be honest, this is, I was back in the West Midlands. These are known as Barry birches because I used to paint them all the time in my 20s. And it's a really good exercise to learn, but birches are beautiful. One of my favourite trees. And you can make a really simple background any season and put birch tree branches up it. And you know, nice little clusters, or a birch tree forest. The thinner you go, you do have to be a bit careful, if I'm honest. I wouldn't do them much thinner than that, because, well, it's hard to control and it gets fatter and fatter and fatter the more you use your knife. So you know, you do need to be careful with that. So I'm going to put a little bit of snow. Let's do a little bit of snow, a little bit of snowy, bluey, grey colour. Not too much, maybe a little bit of white actually up the top. I don't want it too runny, but I have cleaned this brush. Thicker. And then I'll add some shadows. I love a good shadow. Should I do one in the background or not? What do you think? Should I do one leaning in or something like that? There. But then that's 4, isn't it? Am I going to have to do a cluster of 2 or none? Yes, Patricia says. Well, I'm going to listen to you, Patricia. I'll put one further back. But then I've got to remember my lights and my darks, and I will probably have to switch to a smaller brush. It doesn't matter what sound you make. I don't know what I was doing. It sounded like I was going to try and be a steam train. Oh yeah, now that could be too skinny. We'll find out, won't we? Oh, I could have had the light coming from that dark. No, it's too late, Barry. Don't be silly. You've had a month to plan this. You wrote it out in October, so you've known all along what you're doing. Don't change your mind now. Okay, so there's our blue-grey. Diane says yes. Diane, I do make it look easy because I've been doing it since I was a kid. You know, you're looking at 28 years I've been teaching, nearly. Somebody worked out. I started my first art class was an acrylic class in 1997 in the West Midlands. How long ago was 1997? Because I keep saying 25 years, but I think I've passed that now. I'm just trying to hang on to my youth, I think. And if you want to know more about the creative side of our beautiful town here in Banbury, you can read about it in the February issue of Cotswold Life magazine. And there's a little photograph of a cheesy ginger face holding some art supplies with a very big moustache. Wonder who that could be, hey? Surely not me. Now these are really quite skinny. I'm having to, normally I'd be up, you know, because I'm on camera I can't pivot this around as much as I'd like. Normally I'd be standing up and moving my arms around and trying to windle around it. But I'm welded to the spot. 27 years. Oh my goodness, Jilly. 20. But I'm only 28. How does that work out? Oh, see, that's grown massively there. Look how fat that tree is. Oh, I'm having issues. Held my breath then. Pop that in the water. Just wriggle. Thank you, Sharon. I'm presuming you're talking about the trees looking good, not me. Because I've been painting for 27 years, as you just found out. Teaching for 27 years, not even painting. I've been painting since I was 5, so I've been painting since I was for 40 years. Oh! I'm just after a rigger, because I haven't got myself sorted. Both. Oh, you flatterer. More. Where's me flipping rigger gone? I've got a massive pot here of brushes, and I can never find what I actually want. Oh, it's sneaking. It's accidentally in my watercolour jar. Right, so I am gonna switch to some other brushes just for speed, because it's now 44, and I should finish. I'll give you a few extra minutes. That's gonna be brown. A few extra minutes for me having to keep sprinting up and down stairs all the time. Right, I'm going to keep that out. I'm going to go in with a bit of brown and blue with a rigger and make some very dilute inky colour. So an inky consistent an inky consistency. I've got nobody live with me today in the room. It's just me waffling to you. Diane, you don't miss a lot. They do, don't they, Patricia? So thank you for telling me to do these. Let's just do a few extra twigs. coming off. And you can stick these. No, I won't finish that off. What I was going to say, you can stick these if you've got any areas that haven't quite worked, or you know, if it's gone a little bit bumpy or something. Like there. Just a few, but it's got to be really runny. But I wanted to do this to show you what you can do with just a few colours. I mean, technically, black and white aren't colours, are they? I'm sure somebody would tell me off for saying that they're colours. Black is the absence of colour, and white is all of the colours. So, if you want to get technical. And then we're just using, you prefer the solo waffle. You can rewind me, you can. But best of all, you can mute me. And you can just have a nice, relaxing one. I've uploaded a really lovely half-hour tutorial on painting a kingfisher in watercolour on our YouTube channel. And that is just me waffling for a bit with some nice relaxing music. Oh, that's a bit chunky, isn't it? That didn't work out as well as I wanted it to, but we won't tell anyone. I meant for that to happen. So yeah, you're more than welcome to like, subscribe and share on our YouTube channel. Oh, I feel like a proper influencer saying that. Ooh. Mute the waffle. It is you can mute my waffle. What you do in your own way, up your own end, is up to you. Right, now I'm going to go in with a bit of an icy bluey grey. So blue, burnt sienna and white. And we'll just have some shadow. Coming down here. Oh yeah, maybe. It could be your Christmas cards, couldn't it? So your shadows need to follow the contours of the ground for them to work. Now I haven't got really any space for any other shadows, which is a bit silly because I wanted to do shadows. Bad planning, isn't it? Can't get the staff. I can, I've got wonderful staff, but she's not here today, so I have to do everything by myself. Oh, with your big wellies on. Yeah, definitely welly weather this snow, innit? Oh, do you know what? We ought to have a little... I'll tell you where you can go. If you go round here, look. We've got a little bit of a path where the badgers have been already this morning. Slightly darker on this, because the light's coming from this way and it's slightly indented, it'll be a bit darker on the right side, which is the opposite side to everything else. Just goes behind that tree there. Maybe a little bit of white on that side, just to show. Got a little bit of a snowy path. I'm not going to do any more. I think I'm done. Thank you so much for your company today. It's been lovely to have you. Oh, thank you, KK. Good morning. Now, next month is a very exciting demonstration on the 2nd of March. I am painting a kingfisher in watercolours, but it's going to be in shimmer watercolour. I know, how exciting is that? Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you, everyone. So it will be the 2nd of March, shimmer watercolour kingfisher. So thank you, take care, have a really lovely weekend, stay safe, look after yourselves, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you for your company. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.